No, but within the country, this right really doesn't extend to people who are not Indians to enter in.
Malaj, but they were India. That's the point. They were Indians. On that particular day, they were Indians. When Malaj, please, in 1971, when this happened, the war happened, Malaj, and Bangladesh was created, they were Indians before that.
Who is Indians?
Malaj, please, please.
No,
they were.
What's the argument?
Malaj, what happened? Pakistan was
They
created.
were all part of undivided India.
Correct. They were correct, but they were
The government of India.
correct. Malaj, when Pakistan was created, naturally, people would like to come. Malaj, in 1951. In 1911, Malaj, it was reversed. The partition of Bengal was reversed. But they belonged to the same area. The ethnicity was different. The language was different. And all these problems were created by the British. Because when the independence of India took place, East Pakistan, which is now Bangladesh, was carved into a separate country. And the exodus happened because of the fact that the ethnic minorities, linguistic minorities, as well as the majority community in East Bengal, in East Pakistan was not willing to stay there. The problem on the west coast was entirely different. On the western border was entirely different. Because on the western border, it was the Hindus who were coming into India, not the Muslims. The Muslims were given the choice to go there. That's why the date 19th of July. If you not come on the 16th of August, Mullahs, we are people who have been displaced from Lahore. My maternal grandparents were killed. So we came here immediately on the 16th of August. But there are many people, Mullahs, who came here afterwards. And they had to be given refuge. So therefore the 19th of July date, therefore the mechanism. That would never have happened in Assam. From East Pakistan, there was no such. All the minorities wanted to come into India because it was originally a part of India, part of the British Empire. So when this partition took place, naturally, people of Indian ethnicity, Bengali ethnicity, their language would want to come. So Mullahs, to try and argue a constitutional point, which is the point I'm getting at, to say that this has changed the cultural ambience of Assam is constitutionally invalid because you cannot attribute to one event, this to one event. Nor is the court, Mullahs, has the wherewithal to do so. You shouldn't even start this exercise. More important, Mullahs, I have a fundamental right to move from one place of the country to another. So immigration or migration from one place to another is a fundamental right. Can some...
Within the country, of course.
It doesn't matter, Mullahs.
No, but within the country, this right really doesn't extend to people who are not Indians to enter in.
Mullahs, but they were India. That's the point. They were Indians. On that particular day, they were Indians. When Mullahs, please, in 1971, when this happened, the war happened, Mullahs, and Bangladesh was created, they were Indians before that.
Who is Indians?
Mullahs, please.
No,
they were.
What's the argument?
Mullahs, what happened? Pakistan was
They
created.
were all part of undivided India.
Correct. They were correct, but they were
The government of India.
correct. Mullahs, when Pakistan was created, naturally, people would like to come. Mullahs, in 1951, people would like to come. Mullahs, Bengalis would like to come. Hindus would like to come. That's the point I'm making, Mullahs. A constitutional argument can't be made because it happened in 1951 that they came here. Therefore, Mullahs, it changes the cultural environment of Assam. That's not a good argument constitutionally. For the simple reason, Mullahs, the argument has to be applied in the context of demographic change. Demographic change can never be the basis of saying that my culture has been impacted. Can never be, as a matter of constitutional law. Why, Mullahs? Because Part 3 of the Constitution in enforcement of rights. Article 21 is the preservation of rights. 29 is the preservation of rights. There's a constitutional distinction between the two. They are people of different cultures, different traditions, maybe different language. They are entitled to preserve it. Nobody has infringed that. Their argument is it has been infringed demographically. An argument that has no basis in the Constitution. They have to show violation.
Mr. Sibal, there may be some problem with this because an argument about demographic change as affecting culture can never be made within the territory of India. For instance, somebody in a particular state, take for instance, there's this huge migration which is now taking place in our IT centers. People can't say our culture is being changed because of this huge migration.
See Maharashtra, Manas, labor coming from.
Because for the purpose of citizenship law, as Attorney General has very beautifully put it in his submissions, India is one entity.
Correct.
So no one state or no people in one state can say that, look, by virtue of the fact that we are having an influx from other states, that our culture is being affected. Too bad. That's what the Constitution presupposes by postulating Article 19(1)d. You rightly said that, there's free movement. But this applies within the nation.
I agree. But let's kindly see 29 now.
Can the people of a state not say, suppose the union were to say that we are going to resettle, say 20,000 refugees or 25,000 refugees in a particular state. There may be substance in the argument, we may not accept it, but they can certainly found a constitutional challenge.
I'll answer that. See 29.
You cannot have a challenge at all.
Well, that's 29. Just look at 29. Just have a look at 29. Any section of the citizens residing in the territory of India or any part thereof having a distinct language, script, or culture of its own shall have the right to conserve the same. No problem. Which part of their petition says that their right to language, script, or culture has been impacted? That's not even their case. So how do you bring 29 into it? The submission that I am making is this demographic change happened because of historic reasons. And these historic reasons don't relate only to 1947, after 1947. These historic reasons are etched in history right from 1824. And it would be difficult for the court, bullets, to identify as a matter of fact that this happened only after 1947.
According to you, this flux was happening much before that.
Much before. It's part of history, Malad. And whereas actually what happened in 1971 was the second partition of India. In the sense that Pakistan, East Pakistan was obliterated from the back, Bangladesh was created, and those people, those Hindus, and
that's not a second partition.
Second partition of Pakistan. So therefore, because of that, these people came across. It's that second partition of Pakistan that resulted in part of this influx. And this literature we've put in the compilation, Malaj. In our compilation, I'll not trouble your lordships with it. The point I'm making is Malaj, this second partition of Pakistan resulted partly in this influx. But the influx was happening, Malaj, all along. But in any event, Malaj, as a matter of constitutional law, they have to show as to what part of their language, what part of their script, what part of their cultural tradition is being impacted. Now, what had been happening between 78 and 79, there were huge agitations in Assam by the student community. It will give you the historical context of how this whole protest started. There was price rise, there was unemployment, and then part of it was attributed to the fact that there were people who had settled there since 1951, and there were protests against that. That look, these are outsiders, so these are the others. And the agitation reached such a crescendo that it led to huge violence. I mean, that the agitationers said, we would rather give our blood, but we will not give our oil. Why? Because production of oil was in Assam. And there was they stopped the production of oil. Production of oil fell. Only 3 places they produced oil: Gujarat, Bombay High, and Assam. Transportation was stopped. killings took place. Children were killed. In 1983, Mrs. Gandhi decided to have an election. It was opposed. 2% of the people voted in that election. And a person with 17% won the election. There was again a huge protest. I'm talking about 83. Why this 85 happened? When Mrs. Gandhi was assassinated in October. The demand was that 1951 onwards, everybody who was a non-Assami who had come in should be thrown out. This was not agreed to. Mrs. Gandhi got assassinated in October 1984. Rajiv Gandhi then said, let's try and compromise this issue. Keep 1967 as the cutoff date, the learned solicitor rightly said, because of the 66 electoral vote. And 67 was the election. They did not agree at that point in time, but in 1985, when Rajiv came to power, he said, no, there should be give and take. And therefore, this cutoff date was agreed to. This point, of the Article 29 point. That has no constitutional basis. But we're not talking about people coming from outside or coming from inside. We're saying that in any event, in terms of 29, you'll have to show infringement. And their infringement is only change of demographics. That's why they show the population figures. Change in demographics cannot be the basis of an infringement of Article 29.
The Assam Accord was that 71 onwards,
yes,
nobody will be protected.
Correct.
51 to 66 and 66 to 71, people who came in would be protected, basically.
That's right.
51 to 66, no questions asked.
Right.
66 to 71, to satisfy the...
That's correct. Now,
entry 17 confers, and read with 245, Article 245, Parliament undoubtedly has the power
correct.
to legislate.
Correct. But they were not discriminating on the basis of residence. They were not discriminating anybody on the basis of residence. They were saying, only if you are resident will you get this through the process of naturalization. So then, under no prohibited category.
Which was issued by Sheikh Mujibur Rahman,
correct.
the then Prime Minister,
correct.
clearly says that Bangladesh will take back people who had come in after 25th
That's
of March 1970.
That's correct. So, you cannot, as a matter of constitutional law, and again, if you go...
So you will have people in India
yes.
who have been otherwise recognized as foreigners by the Foreigners Tribunal's order, who cannot be granted Indian citizenship,
yes.
and yet who cannot be deported, though they are aliens.
That's correct.